Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how you can make your own wax seals using hot glue guns and crayons. This is the cheap way to do it, I guess, and the a little bit long-winded way, but it's a way to do it without having to spend all that money on the wax beads. So what you're going to need is crayons, any kind of crayons. They can be Crayola crayons or they can be the cheap crayons, and some hot glue sticks. They're the regular. I get the mini hot glue sticks because they're easier to cut and they melt faster. And you could also use these glitter glue sticks. This is a blue glitter glue stick. And I don't know where my craft knife went that I used to cut. Oh, here it is. Never mind. I found it. A craft knife helps get the paper off of the crayon. So just cut the crayon. And the craft knife, if you don't have what I'm using, which I'll show you in a second, the craft knife will also be how you're going to have to cut your crayons and your glue. So you just cut it into really small pieces, about like this big, very, very small. Same with the glue. Cut the glue into that same size. And here's a time-saving trick. I found that if you use one of these, which this is a dog nail trimmer, it's perfectly fit to put a crayon and hot glue in there, and they cut perfectly. So I'm just gonna cut this crayon, this yellow crayon up. And this is a cheap crayon. This is a Dollar Tree crayon that came in packs of 3 for $1. So 3 8-packs of crayons for $1. And I've confirmed that it does work with the cheap wax. This blue one is made from the cheap Dollar Tree crayon. Pardon me, crayons. And you don't even need crayons. You can just use hot glue. You don't need to do any of this. So if you have a glue gun, a hot glue gun, just put hot glue down, and then you can press that as a stamp. You don't need to even do this if you just want to do it that way. This is from one of the colored glue sticks. This is a silver glue stick that has glitter in it, and it worked just fine. This was a little bit of red glitter glue stick with regular glue stick mixed in. So you do not need crayons or wax per se. You can still make the seals. They're just technically not wax seals, but they still work the same way. So I'm just cutting these up into small pieces, just showing you how to do it. And you can get a lot of beads from one crayon as well. I'm not going to cut up the other ones because I already have a container full of the colors that I need. So, and I know these two are cheap crayons. This is a cheap crayon. The rest are Crayola except for this yellow that I just cut up. I have that mixed in with some other Crayola. But you're also going to need, what I found is a metal measuring spoon set. Make sure it's metal. That way it melts. And a tea light. Now this is very dangerous. I mean, it's not very dangerous. You just have to be careful. So definitely no children will be doing this, because you will be playing with fire. So you need a tea light. You need a metal spoon, one that you can fill up with melted wax, and a lighter. And if you don't have any seals, like I bought this is a seal that I bought, but you can use the top of a bottle. This is plastic, so it sticks a tiny, tiny bit, but I will show that it does work. Coins will work. It's better to use something metal to press, to stamp. So like coins, or if you have any old buttons, those work. I just don't have any of those. So I was using the lid to a pop bottle, but I'm going to use this paint lid this time. And something to seal it on, something that's non-stick, like wax paper or parchment paper. I have a silicone, it's actually a mold, the silicone mold that I got for resin, but I use the back of it and it comes off perfectly. So I'm gonna make some pink ones. This is a Crayola crayon that I will be showing. And the ratio that I found to work well is 2 parts crayon to 2 parts glue to 1 part crayon. You definitely need more glue than crayon for it to be sticky, or not, yeah, to be like sticky and not runny, and it doesn't break. It's not breaking. It's a little bit bendy, doesn't break, it doesn't bend, or it bends, but it doesn't snap. So that's what I'm doing. And what I've also done is, when I was melting wax and making some seals, if I had any leftover wax that wasn't enough to make another seal with, I put it inside of this, which is just a tiny little silicone mold as well. And what I'm doing with these is making more beads, but this is already the glue and the crayon mixed in, so that way they melt faster, they melt better, and I can make dual colored ones. So I can make 2-tone ones, which is what I did with this one. I made a black and yellow one. So that was an experiment that I did this morning. I just wanted to see how it worked, and it worked great. So I think I explained everything that you need. Let's get this candle lit. So be very careful with this. Make sure nothing flammable is around. Try to use a long stemmed lighter. It's just easier to light the candle with. Doesn't have to be a tea light. You can use one of those little warmers, but this is what I have. So I'm going to use 2 small pieces of crayon, which means I need 4 pieces of glue. So I'll get those out. I like to melt the crayons a little bit first, because it's easier for the glue to melt. Oh, also, you need something to stir it with. What I have been using is toothpicks. So you just put this over the flame, and it really doesn't take that long. I mean, it's wax and it's a hot flame and it's a metal spoon, so it's already starting to melt. And you just mix it around a little bit, and once it's melted a little bit, that's when I start putting the hot glue in. I usually do 2 at a time. And then once those are all melted in, the hot glue, you kind of have to work with it a little bit. It doesn't just melt like a crayon. So just play with it until it's all melted. This does take a little bit of time. That's what I said, it's kind of the long-winded version. Because the regular wax beads that you would like buy in a kit, you don't have to do this with. You don't have to stir them around or anything. They just melt. Like they are meant to be melted like that. Obviously, crayons and hot glue, this is not their purpose, but it works. And I had a bunch of crayons because I'm working on some crayon box journals. So I had all these crayons, and actually, I bought the crayons first because I did want to try this, but I wasn't having any luck at the time. I couldn't figure out the ratio that I needed for crayon and glue to make a good one. So I kind of gave up on that, and I was just focusing on making the journals. But then I went back to this because I found a stamp, that stamp that I showed you with the flower on it. I found that at Walmart, so I gave it another try. And now that's pretty mixed up. So I'm going to put the other glue pieces in there. So you just play with it till it melts. Make sure it's melted all the way. If you notice that it might be too runny, like say you're using cheap crayons and you think it might be a little bit too runny, put another piece of glue in. That's all. Or if you are using Crayola and maybe your pieces are a little bit bigger than your glue pieces, don't use as much glue. You just kind of want it to be like kind of thick. You don't want it to be super thick, but you don't want it to be super runny either. I think thick over runny would work better. And this is the part that you have to do fast. When it's all melted, you got to pour it out onto your thing, whatever you're using as your base. This is mine. Pour it onto it in a circle, pattern, shape, whatever. Take your stamp. Whoops, I'm going to use this. This is my plain stamp. And just stick it down. Just hold it there for a little bit until it starts getting firm. And then you can let go. Okay, it's firm. Let it sit for a little bit, and see I have a little bit of this left. So actually I'm going to make a little bit more because I want to show you the stamp as well. The regular stamp. So I'm going to put 2 more pieces of crayon in. Actually 1 more because I still have a little bit left. So 1 more piece of crayon, that means 2 more pieces of glue. And while that's drying, it really does not take that long. I usually just let it sit until I'm ready for the next one. So I'll get this started, get it melted a little bit. I mean, it is fire, so it gets hot. Wash your hands. And watch everything that's around you. You definitely don't want to burn anything down by doing this. So I'm going to let that sit for a little bit. My hand's getting hot. And I'm going to take this off. And see what I mean? It sticks to it because the top is plastic. But it still comes off. And I'm doing that kind of off camera because I'm trying to get this. There we go. Sorry you couldn't see that, but there it is. It did rip a little bit. Just be careful when you pull it off. Don't pull it off all crazy like I did. But it doesn't bend. I mean, sorry, it does bend. It's not cracking. But if you had something that was metal using as the stamp, that would not happen. And I will show you that in a second with an actual wax sealing stamp. So my local Walmart, the first time that I looked for them, I didn't see them. I couldn't find them. And then last time I went to Walmart, I was looking for blades for my X-Acto knife, and there they were, right next to the blades. So if you can't find them at your local Walmart, look next to the X-Acto knife, and maybe you'll find them. And it has a stamp, and it even has 3 pieces of wax in it. So this is ready to go. I'm going to pour it out. I'm going to use my toothpick to get a little bit more of that wax out. Okay. And then here's my stamp. I'll just set that down real quick. Wait for it to harden a tiny bit. And then you can let go. And then just to clean this off, obviously just take it in the bathroom. It's better to do it when it's still wet. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I will be right back. All I'm doing is taking it into my bathroom, using some toilet paper and wiping out all the wax, and also wiping off the black stuff from the bottom, which I can't turn over right now. But it's easier to do this while it is wet. So I will be right back. Okay, I also forgot to mention that when you do go away to clean your spoon, blow out your candle. You don't want to leave that burning. Even if you're just going away for a few seconds, don't leave that unattended. And I just wanted to show you that that is all that I did. This is the piece of toilet paper, and all I did was wipe out the pink, and I got some of the black soot off of the back. You might not be able to get all the black off, but that's okay. And this is just throw that in the garbage. And then here's my seal. And here it is. This one's kind of crispy. there it is. A beautiful hot pink flower wax seal. And it's bendy, not breaking. And a couple uses, I mean, the real use for these is to seal an envelope. That's how they used to seal envelopes long time ago. But I want to use them in my journals and stuff, so I'm probably just gonna use some tacky glue on the back and just stick it to stuff. But what you can also do is use a hole punch. I used my Big Bite, the small hole on the Big Bite, to put a hole in it. I put a jump ring around it, and you can hang it from a journal, or you in that hole, you can attach it to a piece of paper, use a brad, and it can kind of move around using the brad. I'm sure there's lots of other things that you can do. You can just use them as decorations on your, like, ATCs and stuff. So, I hope that was helpful. And you don't need anything fancy, but I will say having one of these stamps was awesome, because I didn't have a piece of metal that I could use to stamp, which is why I was kind of getting discouraged, because it is a little bit harder using plastic as the lid, because it does stick, which is why this kind of tore a little bit. So if you can, use something metal, something round, small, and metal, like a coin, and you can hot glue the coin to, you can even hot glue the coin to this, and use this, like that. There are lots of ways and things to use. Hang on one second, and I will show you how you can do it with just a glue stick and a glue gun. I just have to get my glue gun out and make sure that it's hot. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. This is my glue gun. Mine just happens to be a mini glue gun that's high temp. I don't know that matters. This is just the only glue gun that I have. I have a silver glue stick in there, and all you gotta do is just pump it out a few times, like maybe 4 times. Okay, maybe more than 4. Just pump it out on there. Get your seal and press it down. I probably could have used a little bit more glue down, but that's okay. And also, they do actually make wax sticks for glue guns. Like the sealing wax, they make them in stick form for your glue guns too, if you're interested. And this is the set that I got from Walmart. It came with these 3 colors. I actually haven't even used them because I wanted to use my crayons. I wanted to figure out how to do it that way. And this was the wooden part right here, and then I also have another stamp head. I just like the sunflower better. This is a rose, this is a sunflower. And I guess while we're waiting for this to be done, this is the rose. I don't know, I like the sunflower better. So, here it is. And obviously this big line that came off with it, just tear it off. And there you go. Now, you see, you can't really tell what that design is, especially with all the glitter that's in there. Even on some of the other ones, I don't know how well you can tell in the camera what that is. What you can do is you can take a marker and color over it, or lightly cover some paint over it with a very dry brush. Or you can brush over it with some eyeshadow type stuff to bring out that flower. But I like the look of it how it is. I like that it's all just one color and that you really have to look to see it. I don't mind that. But if you do and you really want that flower to pop, then yeah, use a marker or paint or something, and it will. So I guess that's it. I'm going to unplug my glue gun, and I'll let it cool off before I put it away. So that is my easy way of making wax seals. I should say the cheap way of making wax seals. And hopefully this might help you out if you were interested but didn't want to spend all that money. And this kit at Walmart was only $10. So if you want to try it, even with the wax that it comes with, definitely recommend that. But yeah, just get yourself a set of tea lights at the Dollar Tree. I think I got like 14 or something in a pack for $1. That's all you need. And I got these from Walmart as well. I think they were like $3 or $4 for the whole set. I only used a tablespoon. But there are sets on Amazon that come with a whole bunch of wax, just like this. And they come with the stamps, and they come with a tea light. They actually come with like a warmer and a spoon. But this is just the way that I wanted to do it, so that way I could use up all these crayons. So if you have any questions, I would be happy to try to answer them. And if you try this out, let me know. Just be careful. Be careful with the fire. It's hot. And be careful with this. It's hot. It gets hot. Even down here. There's metal down here. So just be careful. And I hope that you enjoyed this little tutorial. I will see you in the next video. Bye.